Great to see you here again. Like in the other videos, I have to inform you that this is a non-edited video due to some software problems. I hope it will be resolved very soon, but I need this video today for you. So later you will have an edited video and it will replace this one. So be aware that the quality may not be what I would like to be, but it is like it is at this moment. Anyway, you will have the necessary information to help you study this course. Great to see you here. We are starting with another video, lesson 3, and we are looking at the decision trees. Now, the decision trees are quite important in decision making because, contrary to the decision making models we've seen before, they allow us to evaluate more complex situations. In order to show you the example or the principle of a decision tree, I will focus here on a simple decision tree, which could easily be done using the risk method that we've seen in the previous video. So let's have a look at the decision tree case study. We look at the elements that we had before. So we have 3 projects that we consider, basically 2 projects. We have develop a new ecologic engine and build a new APU. An APU is an auxiliary power unit, which is typically used on aircraft. Do nothing, in our case, we keep the existing situation, and the existing situation gives us a constant profit of 100K. So we have the same elements there, the success, late and failure events that we consider, and we calculated the expected monetary value. Basically, we can use this as the case study. We can already see that the solution is build a new APU. So basically, this is what we want to do and what we want to get out of it. In reality, we can have more complex scenarios which cannot be done in this format, but the decision tree will help us how to deal with it. Let's look at the decision tree considering this example, and we start with what we call the forward pass. And the forward pass, we are starting here with project A, which has a success profit of 500K, late 200K, and failure minus 250K with the different probabilities. We start from a decision node from which we draw a line indicating project A, and basically in the decision node we will compare all solutions. But what do we do next? So we draw a calculation node, and in this calculation node we will calculate the expected monetary value of the combined outcomes of success, late and failure for project A. So first we draw the line with success, 20% probability for success. We have probability for late, which is 50%, and then we have the probability for fail, which is 30%. All of them together 100%. And the last thing we do, we add the profits for success, which is 500K. When the project is late, we only have 200K. And when the project fails, we have a loss of 250K. So basically, this is the first branch of the tree. And now we are going to do the same thing for project B. So we have project B. We draw the line from the decision node project B. And we also build the different branches with the different outcomes when we have a success, when we are late, and when the project fails. So basically we have all these numbers now. The last thing we have to do is to add the do nothing or status quo. In our case we have do nothing, which means status quo, and it will provide us a profit of 100K. So basically we've built the tree, which we call the forward pass. Now in reality we can have more decisions, it can be more complex, but in this stage, for you to understand what the principle of the decision tree is, I think this is enough at this moment. Now the next thing is we're going to do the backward pass, and for the backward pass we are going to calculate the expected monetary value. And we start with project A, of course. So basically, when we look at project A, we already know from the previous element that project A gives us an expected monetary value of 125k. But let's have a look. How do we find this in the tree? And we are doing the calculation in the calculation node in the circle. First of all, we say that the expected monetary value of success is 20% times 500 is 100k. We have the expected monetary value of late, which is also 100k, and the expected monetary value of a failure is minus 75k. So when we add all those things together, I find a total of 125k. So that's basically the same thing we found in the table before. Next step, we do the same for project B. So for project B, we already know that we have 142.5k. We calculated it before, but let's again review the calculations. So we have 20% times 750, which is 150k. We have for late 50% times 300 is also 150k. And the expected monetary value for failure is minus 157.5k. When we add all of them, we find an expected monetary value totaling 142.5k. For do nothing or keep the status quo, for all cases, basically it's 100k. So we don't have to calculate for do nothing because we find that it is 100k. Now, in different cases, it can be different. I just made it here to keep the decision tree on the board so that I can continue with the exercise. Now, what we're going to do now is we have to evaluate all the solutions, and we evaluate them in the rectangular here square decision node at the beginning of the drawing. We know that the expected monetary value for A is 125k, for B it is 142.5k, and for C it is 100k. This means that the best solution here is project B because it has the highest expected monetary value. Basically, these are the decisions that we make, and perhaps you can see that in the video that I shared, I made a small error here. I said that we select project A, but of course, when we look at the calculations, it should be project B. So that was it for the decision tree. Like I said, it's a very interesting method and it can go in very details. We can have multi-year solutions. We can have multi-solutions following different scenarios. And it's basically a tool that is used a lot in business decision making, but also in project management decision making. When we have to find out what are the different possibilities, we have different solutions, we can make a very good assumption, a very good study about what is going to happen with the project and what is the most optimal solution that we have to consider. Now, anyway, when we look at this, it's also about estimating the numbers and the probabilities, and it is the most difficult part. Like always, the calculation part may look tricky, but once you program it, once you have the software to help you with this, it's about adding the correct numbers, and it's always the same thing: rubbish in, rubbish out. So if we put in the wrong data, we of course will have wrong conclusions, and sometimes this is happening, unfortunately. But that's the example, so let's have a look how it will work, and we will see more about decision-making methods and the linear programming method in the next video. That was it for this video. Thank you very much and bye-bye.